Did you buy a really bad property that's covered with oil and someone's done machine work on it and there's probably environmental problems with it? Or did you buy a nice property over in Sun City, which is beautifully landscaped and well taken care of?
Are you curious about Arizona tax lien sales, but you're not sure where to start? Well, you are in the right place because today I have Ted Thomas, who is America's tax lien certificate and tax deed authority, who has been teaching newcomers for 30 plus years how to do this business. Today, we have questions that came from all different various social media platforms, and so let's go ahead and get right into it. The first question I have comes from one of your YouTube subscribers, Ted, and they're wondering, I live in Arizona and I recently learned that they sell tax lien certificates. What is the highest return I can make?
Highest return in the state of Arizona on a tax lien certificate is 16%.
Wow, so can you finance the purchase of a tax lien certificate in Arizona?
You're not going to be able to go to a bank and say to the bank, well, I want to borrow money to buy tax lien certificates, unless you have some special arrangement with the bank where you're going to give them some collateral. And so generally speaking, people go and they either use their IRA money, either a Roth IRA or traditional IRA or a savings account or money they've saved up, and they buy with that certificate and they pay the county. And then after you own a number of certificates, you could ask the bank or a private lender if they would lend. But generally speaking, people pay cash for tax lien certificates. Now, when I say cash, I'm talking about the equivalent, which might be a cashier's check, or it might be a special check or from the bank, or it might be a bank draft. But the county wants money now, and they're not going to take just regular checks. They won't do that.
We have a Facebook comment here, and they said, hello from Canada. Are there any restrictions on foreign investors investing in Arizona tax lien certificates?
No, we love all those Canucks from Canada. So if you want to invest in the United States, we'd love to have your money. And you're going to find out that there's thousands of Canadians investing in the United States. Matter of fact, I'm here in Florida, and in Florida, the Canadians have their own voice at the legislature. You know, they have their own people talking to the legislature here because there's so many of them here. It's the same thing in Arizona. They call them snowbirds, and they leave the Canadian provinces, especially in the West and from Chicago and places like that in the States, wherever it gets cold, they all go to Arizona and they buy tax lien certificates in the month of February.
Again, Ted, I have a question from a YouTube subscriber, and they said, Ted, I've been watching your videos for a long time and I'm really interested in Arizona tax lien certificates. What type of due diligence do you have to do on a certificate?
Well, unfortunately, if we're talking about Arizona tax lien certificates and we're talking about due diligence, I say unfortunately because most people don't do what I'm going to say right now. All right, so the biggest mistake that you can make is to raise your hand and buy a tax lien certificate. Buy it. So now you paid tax on that property. Okay, but what did you buy? Did you buy a really bad property that's covered with oil and someone's done machine work on it and there's probably environmental problems with it? Or did you buy a nice property over in Sun City, which is beautifully landscaped and well taken care of? Or did you buy in Scottsdale? Or did you buy in the industrial part of Phoenix? So you need to know where you're buying, because my rule is, now it's my rule, not everybody else, my rule is I think you should have boots on the ground and you should check to see what that property is. Now, we teach lots of ways to check. If you are, say, in Calgary, Canada, in Alberta, and you wanted to buy, we can show you how to buy by checking the property and doing due diligence. Okay, if you don't do due diligence and you don't know what you bought, that could be the biggest mistake. Now, let's go back to what I just said. What if it was an industrial property where they had been spilling oil, or there was oil tanks in the ground, or something that had created a mess? Okay, now the other people have defaulted and walked away. Now you paid the tax. You're ultimately not going to get any money from those people because they walked away, but you're ultimately going to get that property. Tax lien certificate if it's unpaid, you're going to get that property. You're going to do a foreclosure and get the property. Do you want a property that's not very good? So I suggest people go, walk on the property and look at it.
So is it possible to buy over-the-counter tax liens in Arizona?
Over-the-counter certificates are available in almost all of the states, Arizona particularly. For example, when they have auctions, they're selling tax lien certificates. So let me grab something here on my desk and give you a quick demonstration of that. Okay, so this is not Phoenix, Arizona. This happens to be Jacksonville, Florida. But Phoenix will have, or Maricopa County would have a list very similar to this. So let me hold this list up. Okay, so this list is going to have thousands of tax lien certificates. So traditionally, Maricopa County would have 30 to 50,000 certificates. And these certificates, this tax list is just showing a list of all those. All right, so when you look at that list and know that there's a list, there's going to be hundreds and thousands of these properties. Many times, all of those certificates will not sell at the auction. They will not sell. So the county would like to sell all of them because they want the money to run the government. If they don't sell them, the county just moves the sale probably to the next month and says, come over to the county and buy them. So the slang word for this, the slang word, which now has become commonplace, is not go to the county and buy them, is buy over the counter. Because when you go to the county and you go up to the fourth floor to the treasurer's office, well, the treasurer said, oh, come on in, and there's a big counter here. Just like I have a desk in front of me, it's a big counter. They say buy it over the counter. So you walk up to the counter and you tell me whatever number, I'm the treasurer, you tell me whatever number you want, and I'll say, yeah, that's still for sale. You can then go type it in the computer and you can see what the property is and you can buy it over the counter. Now, why would someone buy it over the counter? Because there's no bidding. You just walk in. That means you're going to get the high rate of 16% every time. So if I'm a buyer of tax certificates, I wait till the auction goes by. And whatever's left, I'm going to go over and look at those because I'm going to get 16%. But if I go to the auction in Arizona, it started at 16%. Then it's going to go to 15, 14, 13. The lowest bidder gets the tax lien certificate. Heck, I want to make 16. I don't want to make 2%. All right. So if you go and you want to buy one over the counter, just make sure it's still for sale, but then do a little due diligence. Check it out. Okay. So if you're doing it if you're doing it online, you're in another city. Let's say you're in Canada or you're in Hawaii, wherever you might be. All right. You can still check out the property, but this takes time to check it out. So you're going to have to go online. Then you're going to check the property there.
Okay, this question is very specific. I live in Pima County, Arizona. When is the next upcoming tax lien auction?
Oh my goodness. When is the next auction in Pima County? Well, first of all, I don't have that kind of memory for that kind of thing. Pima County, just for the people that don't know, that happens to be Tucson, Arizona. Oh, but this is very easy for you to find out. And you can go to the county treasurer and find out when the next auction is going to be. It's as simple as that. Go to the county treasurer in Pima County, look up Pima County, and then go to the treasurer, and then they'll tell you. But Arizona sells tax lien certificate in the month of February.
Thank you, Ted. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. And Ted has a free gift in the description below this video, so make sure you guys check that out as well.